You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome to the program, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. Wow, we just got some breaking news here as the podcast started. This just came out. And, you know, this is one of those things, when it comes out, it changes the whole direction of the show, because I was going to start with another story, which we will talk about later, which is also a big news story. But this one is major. This is in Breitbart. Listen to this. The Durham investigation. You guys know the Durham investigation. He is investigating the traitors behind the Russia hoax. Durham, five Hillary Clinton associates are taking the Fifth Amendment in Russia hoax prosecution. I have not read this story yet, only the headline, and this is like a stop the presses moment. And everyone knows when you take the Fifth Amendment, you're guilty. I mean, that's, you know, it's a protection that we have, and I'm glad that we have it. But when someone takes they're
stonewalling. They're stonewalling this investigation. None of them are going to cooperate.
Now, well, this isn't stonewalling. This is great. Now, those of you that are not in the United States, in America, we know what that means, the Fifth Amendment. In the United States, we have a constitutional guarantee against self-incrimination. What that means is, if you've done a crime and you're asked by law enforcement or in a court of law about that crime, you do not have to answer. You answer with the Fifth Amendment, which is the right against incriminating yourself in a crime. So we know what that means. I did it, and I'm guilty, and this is absolutely amazing. Okay, so let's read. I have not read this story, and this is in Breitbart right now. 5 associates of Hillary Clinton and her presidential campaign are invoking their Fifth Amendment rights and refusing to cooperate with Special Counsel John Durham, according to a filing in federal court. The revelation emerged in a motion filed by Durham to oppose the efforts of defendant Michael Sussman. Now, Michael Sussman is the Clinton lawyer who was involved not just in the spying on President Trump at Trump Tower, but keeping the spy operation going after he won the election, where they actually were spying on the computers inside the executive office's Oval Office. The revelation emerged in a motion filed by Durham to oppose the efforts of defendant and Clinton lawyer Michael Sussman and the Clinton campaign to withhold some documents from evidence by asserting attorney-client privilege. Sussman is charged with lying to the FBI in 2016 when he informed the FBI about a fraudulent link between then-candidate Donald Trump and the Russian government via Alfa Bank. Sussman allegedly presented himself as a concerned citizen and hid the fact that he was working with the Clinton campaign.
Just working on his own.
I'm just a concerned citizen.
Exactly.
I found out about this Russia thing and Donald Trump.
The loyalty to the Clintons just is astounding, or it's just plain fear, one or the other. It's astounding to me how many people are loyal to them, or maybe, like I said, maybe afraid.
This is getting good now. I'm very excited about this. I know a lot of you guys are too, because Durham, I started even to question whether John Durham really even existed. You never see him on television. They only have 1, maybe 2 file photos of him that are like 20 years old.
He's smart. He's just, he lays low. He's smart.
All right, back to Breitbart here. In the filing, Durham noted that while one witness, identified as Researcher 2, was granted immunity from prosecution in exchange for testimony, at least 5 other witnesses who conducted work relating to Russian Bank Number 1 allegations invoked or indicated their intent to invoke their right against self-incrimination. John Turley, legal scholar, noted in a commentary on the filing this. This is Turley. Durham is now moving to give immunity to a key witness while revealing that the claims made by the Clinton campaign were viewed by the CIA as non-technically plausible and user-created. So what this is saying is Sussman for the Clintons gave the CIA this information on the Russia stuff.
And what it also means...
And the CIA said that this isn't believable.
Right, and what it also means, what you said, is when somebody's giving somebody immunity, you know what that means. They're going to spill their guts.
That's right.
They're making a deal.
These people are facing treason charges. They're going to.
If they're offering someone immunity, that means they're going to talk.
Durham also revealed that at least 5 of the former campaign contractors and researchers for the Clinton campaign have invoked the Fifth Amendment and refused to cooperate and fear that they might incriminate themselves in criminal conduct. Turley also noted that Durham's filing detailed how the false Russian collusion claims related to Alpha Bank involved Clinton General Counsel Mark Elias and Christopher Steele. Yeah, British intelligence, Christopher Steele.
His name always seems to be popping up in these things.
It says here, Steele is a former British spy. I don't know if I buy that. I think he's still a spy and always has been, who worked for opposition research firm Fusion GPS to produce the fraudulent Russian dossier that ended up in John McCain's hands, remember, that triggered government surveillance of the Trump campaign and the broader Russia collusion conspiracy theory. Elias, a prominent election attorney for Democrats who arranged the funding for the dossier and went on to lead Democrat efforts for other things that goes on and on and on. So we've got 5, they're going out into the wilderness here, but we got 5 people connected to the Clinton campaign now that are taking the Fifth Amendment. We have one person that's cutting a deal.
Yeah.
We have another one suspend.
Interested to know who that is.
The deep state have cut ties with him. The CIA said suspend the Clinton lawyer. All his stuff is not even believable. This is amazing. And I'll tell you, for anyone out there who does not think President Trump is going to run in 2024 and be reelected for a second non-consecutive term, if these people in Washington thought that Trump wasn't coming back, they wouldn't be doing this. They would just let it go on. They would drag it out. It would go on forever. He'll never be back in power. But they know he and his allies are coming to power. And a lot of this is not just to avoid these long prison sentences that these people will face, because remember, they continue the spy operation on the Oval Office, Executive Office computers after Trump was in office. So they were spying on the sitting president of the United States. That's treason. So these people are facing life, and the Republicans are expected to have big wins in the House and the Senate. It seems like a lot of people are nervous.
Well, and just because they're pleading the Fifth doesn't mean that they can't be indicted. I mean, they obviously have some evidence, and we have this one person who is making a deal, who must be I'm very curious who it is, a very brave person, because they're definitely going up against the swamp here. Do you think, and I'm going to put this in the poll for today, do you think these people pleading the Fifth is because of fear or out of respect and loyalty to the Clintons?
Fear.
So you think fear, I say the same. Tell us in the comments, or better yet, you can tell us in the comments, but I'm going to put up a poll after the show, and you can answer in the poll. Is it fear or respect for the Clintons? Because the Clintons still have a lot, especially Hillary Clinton. She has a lot of loyal friends. She does, whether on the left. I mean, she is controlled. This whole Russia thing that was going on, she controlled and manipulated, obviously, like according to this whole investigation. She was the anonymous source. She was the one feeding these things, tweeting about it. Yeah. She would tweet something and they would run with it on the news like it was fact. They don't bother checking these things. If Hillary Clinton says it, boom, we're going with it. It makes Trump look bad, we're going with it. The news is a joke. They don't look into anything. They don't care if it's true or not. So tell us what you guys think, fear or loyalty? Oh, no.
Hillary Clinton has a reputation from the moment she came in public life of being an unpleasant, nasty person for no reason at all. She's just nasty to everyone. So
bitter. I would say bitterness is at the core.
She's bitter now, but she's always been pissed. Okay, she's always been angry.
Yeah, but I think she's always been bitter.
And what's happened here is all these years later, she has no friends, she has no allies. She's stepped on and been nasty to every person in her orbit. And now
I disagree. I think she has a lot of friends. I think she has a lot of loyalists.
She has people that want power and don't want Trump in power. But the idea of Hillary Clinton or the Clintons in general coming back into power, those days, that's like fantasy land right now. And these are people that are facing 20 years, some of them life sentences, and some of them a 20-year or 15-year sentence because they're older might be a life sentence.
But these men
they're not going to spend the rest of their lives in prison.
I wouldn't be so
for
sure.
Mrs. Clinton.
Then they would be talking. I mean, these guys that are pleading the fifth.
They may not offer deals. See,
let's see how far they're willing to go.
The first one who talks gets the deal. They already got someone flipped. Durham may not need to make deals with anyone, and because he's got evidence, all of this spying that they were doing on candidate Trump and then President Trump, they didn't cover their tracks because first they thought he wasn't going to ever be president. No one ever looked into it. So they didn't cover their tracks before. And then after he was in the White House, they thought that he was going to be a failure, be impeached and removed or embarrassed into resigning or something. They never thought any of this stuff would be investigated. So they didn't cover their tracks. So I think Durham has someone that is flipped. He's got all kinds of evidence. And these people are taking the fifth because Durham's not offering deals. He doesn't have to.
Yeah. And I'm really curious if there's like a direct link with Hillary and one of these people in a text or an email, or if there's a go-between. Usually, like, you watch a lot of shows where there's like a kingpin drug dealer.
Yeah.
There's always like 5 or 6 steps to get to the main guy. You know what I mean? Like, how that the feds will go undercover and then they go meet one guy and he's not the main guy. There's another guy and then they got to go meet another guy. I wonder how many degrees of separation there are between Hillary, who we know orchestrated this whole thing, and these underlings. Who did they talk to, and who did that person talk to?
One at most, because
you don't think there's too many different levels here?
I think almost everything goes directly to Hillary.
Yeah.
And if
then
there's
got to be some kind of proof of this somewhere.
Yeah, like one person. Like they go to Podesta, and then he goes to Hillary, and Hillary is probably involved in most of it because.
So you think one person, Podesta, maybe?
Maybe, but I think she's involved with most of it because she's power hungry and a control freak.
No, I'm sure she's involved. But what I'm wondering is how many go-betweens did these guys talk to her direct? Did they take directives right from her?
Yeah, they probably had.
Or was there a middleman?
No middleman. She probably had meetings with them, with Podesta together. And if she was too busy or on a bender, because she's got a drinking problem, and she was passed out, Podesta might have done some of it without her there. But I think anytime she was awake, even not sober, but if she was awake and around, she was either there in person or on the phone. I think she's involved. Very hands-on.
Plus, her tweets definitely will link her to all of this because people have been showing her old tweets and articles and stuff, conservative publications, and there were many times she tweeted things. Oh, there's proof now that Trump and Russia, blah, blah, blah. She tweeted things that went along with this whole little thing she was doing, and it shows her pushing that narrative out there. It shows her involvement on that level as far as getting all that stuff out there. I want to talk about we get back, I guess.
Well, I want to
DeSantis thing.
Yeah, we'll do that after the break. I want to tell people about Mike Lindell and My Pillow, and if you listened to me this morning or caught me on YouTube over the weekend, you know that I was a victim of big-time cancel culture. Steve Kane and I had a personal appearance over the weekend. We had hundreds of listeners show up at one of our sponsors. And, of course, a triggered Democrat who does not like conservatives, does not like MAGA. It got really rough. I'm not going to go through the whole story now because I've talked about it on YouTube and on the radio this morning. But if you go to my YouTube channel, Brian Craig, you can see a video of Steve Kane and me being removed by armed security from our appearance. And, when we talk about cancel culture is very real, and there's a major effort to cancel MAGA. And we talk about Mike Lindell so often, canceled by his banks, canceled by Home Shopping Channel, canceled by QVC, canceled by the Canadian television shopping networks, canceled by Bed Bath & Beyond, canceled by Kohl's, facing 3 defamation lawsuits because Mike Lindell stands up for MAGA. They're trying to cancel him and My Pillow. And he is facing defamation lawsuits of multiple billions of dollars with a B. And Mike Lindell said, he was asked in an interview, how can people help you? Do you have like a legal defense fund? And Mike Lindell said, what you can do to help me is go to mypillow.com and buy something. Buy these great products of mine with our promo code, of course, Kane, Kane, where you will just find amazing deals. And Mother's Day is coming up in just a few short weeks. And just ask yourself this: what did you get Mom for Mother's Day over the years? Do you even remember?
Does she even remember?
Yeah. And if you do remember, does she still have it? Does she still use it? If you go to mypillow.com, there are so many great items there that Mom will love.
And she'll actually use.
Oh, for years to come, forever and ever and ever. And some of these great items, I'm just going to mention a couple, but when you go to mypillow.com, you'll see all these great deals. With our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, you can take advantage of not just the deals I'm going to share with you now, but there's many other deals there at mypillow.com. Save up to 66% off, but I'm going to go through a couple of what I consider to be the best Mother's Day items. The MyPillow My Slippers. They come in multiple styles and colors for men and women. 50% off with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. The MyPillow bathrobes, there's 2 different styles, a heavy bathrobe, a light bathrobe, and they come in many different colors. A bunch of new colors have come in as well. 30% off the MyPillow bathrobes with the promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. The MyPillow 100% Giza Cotton Dream Sheets, 60% off with the promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. And remember, there's many more specials there. You can take advantage of them all with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. And with every purchase, you will receive a free copy of Mike Lindell's autobiography, What Are the Odds? From Crack Addict to CEO. In fact, Kathy ordered a set of towels, and we just got over the weekend another copy of the book, and it's a beautiful book, and it's a very interesting book. I'm reading it now, and it's amazing, this story of Mike Lindell. So go to mypillow.com, use our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, and save up to 66% off for your mom, which, by the way, mom includes mom, grandma, your wife, and your daughter if she has kids. Save up to 66% off with the promo code Kane, Kane. So here in Florida, Ron DeSantis, who is, remember how Mayor Giuliani was America's mayor, Kathy?
Yeah.
Remember that? Ron DeSantis is like America's governor, right? I mean, he represents.
Well, he's definitely setting a tone for other conservative governors, for sure. They're following. He's a leader. I've said this. He's a born leader.
Yeah.
The guy is meant to lead, not to be a second fiddle. The guy is a leader. He leads the way. Everybody follows his example now. He's got guts.
So there's a new story.
He's fearless.
Here in Florida. This is amazing. Listen to this. The Florida Department of Education, this is Ron DeSantis, right?
Yeah.
Has rejected 54 math textbooks. Mm-hmm. And Governor DeSantis points to indoctrination. The highest number of books rejected were for grades K through 5, in which 71%.
See, that's where they brainwash them.
Yeah, were deemed inappropriate under Florida standards. The Florida Education Commissioner has approved the state's initial adoption list for mathematics textbooks after eliminating 41% that were banned because they contained either Common Core or critical race theory. Now, and people might wonder, well, how can they have critical race theory and math books?
Book.
The Common Core, we know, they have those weird math problems that nobody can do. The way that they inject critical race theory, my guess would be, in math books is through the word problems.
Absolutely.
That's how they do it.
Yeah. That's exactly. They would say, so-and-so has 5 apples and the white supremacist has 10.
Yeah,
I
don't
know what I mean? That kind of stuff they would do. It's interesting. I wonder when we were in school, I'm not aware of all this happening, and I don't think it did at this level, but I'm sure there was some level of liberal brainwashing at some point that we probably weren't aware of. But the reason these are happening in K through 5 schools, you got to ask yourself this. These are happening, the 75% of the books, and most of them are K through 5 math books, right? Then you have couple that with them trying to teach kindergartners and kids K through 5 about transgenderism, multigenders, all this stuff. Why do you think they're doing this in those grade levels? Why do you think they're targeting little kids? Because let me tell you why. Little kids, when they're in elementary school, really look up to their teachers, okay? their teacher is like their second mother or second father. I mean, they really, more than, I taught middle school and the kids were very disrespectful to the teachers for the most part. But elementary school, the kids love their teachers for the most part. And they,
respect them,
they
hang
respect
on their every word.
them, hang on their every word. Yeah. It is an absolutely captive audience that they have. And not every kid is going to go home and tell their parent what they talked about in school. I don't remember, first of all, my parents were never home. They were working all the time. But I didn't discuss what happened at school with my parents. Did you? Did you go home and say, Mommy, in class today, we talked about how Johnny has a vagina? I mean, would you have done that? No, you don't. You just kind of keep it to yourself.
When our daughter was in school, we were very active. I did not miss a single parents' night. From kindergarten through her senior year of high school, I was at every single one.
Yeah, we were both.
And I think I might have a record, from that body of kids from those schools. And you and I often had teacher conferences over the years.
Even when we didn't need to, just to check up.
We were very, very active. But even when you do all of that stuff, though, they're very vague and don't really let you know what's going on in the school. You got to be very inquisitive. And the reason I say Ron DeSantis is America's governor is because he takes a firm stand without apologizing to the conservative MAGA viewpoint, whether it's critical race theory banned out in schools. These textbooks, see, the way these textbooks companies operate, it used to be Texas, but now it's so much Florida. Mm-hmm. When you and I were in school in the 70s and 80s, most of the textbooks were by the Texas standards. And the reason that is at that time, Texas had more students in school than any other state, so they did the biggest buy of books per state, so they kind of led the way. Florida's population has grown dramatically, and we are expected to become the most populated state in the next few years, the state of Florida. So we have the largest textbook purchases on a statewide level.
Oh, yeah, and everybody's moving here.
So,
Our population, like you said, is massive.
So the textbook companies don't want to have a different set of textbooks for every state or for 16 states and then have 20 states that have this one and then 5 states have that one. They want to have unified standards because it's more profitable for them. So when a big state like Florida, which is a growing state and will continue to grow with more and more children, rejects the textbooks, the textbook companies have to make those changes if they want to make that sale, or the capitalist system, and there'll be another textbook company that gets the Florida business if these don't cut it. And Ron DeSantis, if you think about this, other than President, of course, President Trump is the exception to all of these rules. But if you look at the other high-profile Republicans, except for President Trump of the past, like Newt Gingrich and these guys, they were always apologizing for being conservative and having conservative viewpoints. They were always apologizing. They were always meeting with people to try to find some common ground and everything. And Ron DeSantis, like President Trump, says, this is not right. This is what I believe in, and this is what it's going to be like.
Why do conservatives always feel they have to meet these people in the middle? Why do they feel they have to acquiesce to them and give? Yeah. He doesn't do that. Like you said, he says, no, we're not going to give up our values, our beliefs, and our way of life because you know why? Because these people are never satisfied.
That's right.
Give them a little bit now, they want a little more later, and then even more down the road. They're never, ever freaking happy. But my advice to parents would be is go through your children's textbooks, especially if you don't live in Florida, and look through their textbooks periodically and read them. It's not hard. It's elementary school mostly and maybe middle. Read through the textbooks, even the math books, and see what's in there. And, just be aware. Make yourself aware.
You would be very surprised. Now, listen, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, there is a lot more to talk about. We've only just scratched the surface. We had this Easter weekend, and then Monday has happened here. We're on Monday. And there's just more humongous news going on than anyone has time to talk about. So we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, there's a lot more to discuss. My name's Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We will be back right after this.
From author Craig Evans comes your next must-read book, From Shattered to Soaring, available on Amazon. For author Craig Evans, innocence was taken as a child. Abandonment, physical abuse, and psychological torture swallowed his youth. Depression, anxiety, panic attacks, and agoraphobia were the result of suffering. But through surviving cancer, a new self-discipline was born, that of iron will and perseverance. He transformed himself from the broken pieces to find powerful courage to soar through fear, then above it. In From Shattered to Soaring, the author shares his extraordinary life story and reveals the powerful techniques as a practical guide that he used to transform fear, anxiety, and panic to reach his full potential. His story uncovers a path that anyone can follow with actionable exercises to shatter fear, drive through pain, and uncover their greatness. This book was written for those suffering from anxiety, panic attacks, agoraphobia, and depression. After enduring a lifelong struggle with these debilitating disorders, author Craig Evans discovered a way through the fear and no longer suffers. And he shares his experiences with you. Order your copy right now. From Shattered to Soaring, from author Craig Evans. This book is perfect for support groups and book clubs. Available on Amazon in both Kindle and paperback. Brian Craig here. It's been a year since I started sleeping on my MyPillow mattress topper, and it's changed my life. I sleep the night through every night. Don't just take my word for it. Here are some people who are sleeping on their MyPillow mattress topper too, sharing their experience.
With the MyPillow topper, I'm just finding that I don't build up any heat. I'm warm and I'm comfortable, but I'm not too clean and I'm not too cold. I'm not too hot. It just kind of keeps me right where I need to be in order to get a good night's sleep.
I think that MyPillow topper delivers on its promise to give me a better night's sleep.
Immediately, there was a difference. As soon as I laid down on the thing, I commented to Pam. I said, this feels dramatically different. And laid down, and I slept there, and I kind of anticipated that I would be getting up during the night with that same heat coming off. It didn't happen. As a matter of fact, the first night, I overslept.
Stop the cancel culture against Mike Lindell and MyPillow and get the best night's sleep you have ever gotten in your life. And order your 2-inch MyPillow mattress topper for 50% off with the promo code KANE at checkout. KANE. 50% off the MyPillow mattress topper. But you've got to use the promo code KANE, KANE, at MyPillow.com. Winter storms, wildfires, earthquakes, hurricanes. Any one of these natural disasters can cause unexpected power loss for you and your family for days, weeks, and even months on end, leaving you unprotected and powerless in your greatest moment of need. Fortunately, with the Safari ME 2000-watt solar generator, you'll always have reliable, sustainable power when you need it most. This energy-efficient generator is ultra-portable, safe, silent, and can power heavy construction and medical equipment with ease. You can even connect the generator to the solar panel during sunlight hours and enjoy constant power throughout the day. Plus, act now and receive a free gift with your solar generator purchase. Whether you're experiencing an emergency, camping, or simply working from anywhere, you can depend on the Safari ME 2000-watt solar generator for instant, sustainable power. Visit PortableSolarPlusFC.com to get your portable solar generator today. That's PortableSolarPlusFC.com.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Listen to this. This is another story just breaking today. It's like the news took Easter off.
Yeah.
You know, it's amazing that the mainstream corporate media would take Easter off. They're so anti-religion and Christian and everything, and it's just, you know, I'm surprised. But anyway, listen to this. This is some story. 3 companies owned by Alex Jones. I'm reading this from a liberal outlet, so they write, 3 companies owned by right-wing conspiracy theorists. You know, they got to throw that in, but
yeah,
I left out the right-wing conspiracy theorists, but but that's what they say in this story. 3 companies owned by Alex Jones, including Infowars, filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy amid several ongoing lawsuits. Reuters reviewed the bankruptcy filings Infowars submitted to the Southern District of Texas reporting that their estimated assets are in the range of $0 to $50,000, their liability between $1 to $10 million. CBS confirmed the report, saying 2 other Alex Jones companies filed for bankruptcy were IW Health and Prison Planet TV. The development comes as Alex Jones remains bogged down in defamation lawsuits stemming from his false claims about Sandy Hook. You guys,
that has been an albatross around his neck.
The case against Alex Jones was reopened after plaintiffs rejected his offer to pay each of them $120,000 as a settlement. He was recently ordered to appear at a 2-day deposition and give video testimony ahead of the trial, but he did not appear, citing health issues. The judge called Alex Jones' refusal to appear willful, so he was ordered to pay $50,000 per day until he agreed to give testimony. Alex Jones is also being accused of moving millions of dollars into shell companies in an attempt to hide his assets from those suing him. Okay. This thing with Alex Jones, it's all very strange. It's very weird. And I'm really surprised how the left have brought down Alex Jones, because if you remember when Hillary Clinton was debating Donald Trump in those debates, she would always say, the party of Alex Jones. And I remember talking about that at the time, and I would tell you guys, this is interesting, because it used to be, the party of Rush Limbaugh. Then it was the party of Alex Jones. And I thought that the left really liked Alex Jones. They had this new boogeyman villain that they could always point to.
But this isn't the left. This is these parents.
No, they've been
after him for a decade.
This is the final thing. But he's been canceled by everything. He's been really sidelined from the mainstream. He's been canceled by everything you can imagine. And now they're going to break him financially, and he'll never fully recover or be where it is that he ever was again. And it's really amazing how they brought this guy down. I don't understand the whole allegations and the lawsuit he made. I don't understand why any of it, but it's,
a lot of this he's brought on himself. So you cannot absolve him from some responsibility here. He made crazy claims. You don't say that about people who've lost 5-year-olds. That's just nuts. And the things he said were so outlandish and outrageous. And he's been fighting these parents for years and years and years. So, he says a lot of things that, are a little outrageous and provocative. And he's a little reckless with his words sometimes, and words do matter. And a lot of this he has brought on himself. I'm not saying you're not right, but he's not a complete victim here. You know what I mean? He's not. He's brought a lot of this on himself. He says things
Alex
that are very,
Jones,
outrageous. And he even said himself that, sometimes he says he gives into hyperbole and all this stuff. So
he has no filter. And what happens, I think, a lot of times, and I've never been a big listener or follower of Alex Jones. I know a lot of you guys are. So I'm not knocking Alex Jones, because quite honestly, I've not listened to Alex Jones enough over the years to have an opinion about, all the things he said, because I really don't know, because I really have not listened. I mean, I know who he is, and I've listened to him a few times, and I've seen some of his interviews, but I don't really know. But he seems to me to be a very self-destructive person. And he gets in what happens a lot of times is...
Yeah, he's self-destructive. I think that's a fair assessment.
He surrounds himself with people who are... They don't care about the future of his business and his program or anything, and he feeds off of that. And there's
it's not their name on the door. Yeah. That's why. That's the problem.
And there's no one around him that could say, hey, maybe this isn't a good idea. Maybe that's... I'm not saying that any of his ideas or theories are wrong. I don't, like I say,
and his wife seems to be as outrageous as he is.
Well, his current wife.
Usually, usually there's a woman or a wife or a partner involved that might give an opposing viewpoint or pull somebody back from the edge and be like, okay, this might be a little too much. But if you have a partner that says outrageous things like you, I just want to say we have breaking news.
Well, this is the next thing I was going to get to.
Because there's breaking news right on Twitter right now, all over Twitter.
Oh, no, what is it, the one you have?
A federal judge in Florida has voided the national mask mandate covering airports, planes, and other public travel. So another great Floridian.
The other,
just broke with the AP.
Our daughter was in California, and she came back. Was it last week? She came back from California. And I went to the airport to pick her up. I parked the car. I go to walk in the airport. I'm not allowed in. Here I am. I'm in Ron DeSantis' free Florida. I'm not allowed in the airport because I don't have a mask. I don't own a mask anymore. And they were not offering masks at the door, and they would not let me in. So luckily, we could communicate over the phone, but a lot of times someone gets off a plane, their phone's dead.
Well, remember, they extended the mask mandate 15 days. So now a federal judge in Florida has voided the national mask mandate that covers airports, planes, and other public travel. So this is just breaking. So we'll see what happens with
the airplanes or the airports?
Covering airports, planes, and other public travel. So they've made the mask mandate voided out.
Kathy and I we talked about this last week, and I'll just recap this real quick. We talked about this last week. Kathy had a doctor's appointment where they required masks. Mm-hmm. And most doctors that I've been to require masks, and it's awful. And we went to your doctor middle last week, had us wear a mask. I could hardly breathe. I know we all had to wear them like a couple years ago.
Doctors still require it.
I don't remember it being so bad as it is now, but I was really suffocating. And you're on oxygen, and for you to have to cover up your mouth and your nose while you're on oxygen is
it's
insane.
Hard, especially when it's warm out.
And I here in Florida, because we have Ron DeSantis as governor, you don't have the mask issue you have in a lot of other places, but things that are run by the federal government require masks. That's the airports. Right?
But this judge voided it now.
And private businesses can require masks. And doctors, I don't know what the deal is with doctors. If it's one of two things. Either they're telling themselves it's a liability issue, but I don't think that's it. I think the reason doctors' offices require masks is because they have this arrogance about them that they're smarter than Trump. And they view Trump as being anti-mask, and they're true scientists. They're medical professionals, don't you know? And unlike Donald Trump. And so it's best to wear. I think it's that.
I think it's a liability thing.
You think so? Insurance liability?
I think so. And I don't no, they have, doctors all have malpractice insurance, and it's very expensive.
You think the insurance companies require it?
They might be making them do it. It's extremely expensive, and doctors can get sued at any time. It's like a constant fear, but they carry insurance if that happens. I don't know how it is in other parts of the country, but here in South Florida, there's a lot of elderly people, and that could be why you see it more here than other places because, I went to the dermatologist last week, and most of the people, and they're limiting the number of people in the waiting room. I will say that. When I went there, I've been going to the same doctor for a while. When I went there before COVID, the waiting room would be absolutely packed with like 15 people. It was crazy. I went in there last week. I was the only one. I could not believe it. So they're spacing out their appointments more. So they're definitely making less money at the doctor. So I don't think they would do that unless they really had a genuine fear of liability or something like that, because they're losing money for sure. I mean, this was a doctor who, you've seen doctors' offices, she'd have 10, 15 people waiting at one time. Mm-hmm. And the last 2 times I've been there, maybe 3 at the most. So they're definitely losing money. And it all has to do with these guidelines of spacing people out, spacing out appointments, and wearing a mask regardless of vaccine status, which I thought was absolutely crazy. But it is difficult for me on oxygen and in the heat. I will say that it's difficult, but I have to do it. I have to get treated.
You have to see the doctor.
What are you going to do?
So here's a story. There's a crime wave going on in America today, and one of the reasons there's such a crime wave is because criminals are not being held in jail. Listen to this. This was over the weekend.
Oh yeah, I saw this.
One of the suspects who allegedly, gotta say allegedly, opened fire in a South Carolina shopping mall as part of a gunfight that left 14 people injured will be allowed to return to work with an ankle monitor.
Crazy.
While on house arrest after being released from jail on bail. They were part of a gunfight that 14 people got injured in.
Incredible.
Jawayne Price, age 22, was arrested Sunday, charged with unlawfully carrying a pistol in connection with the shooting at Columbia's Columbiana Center Mall. Columbia police said on Twitter that a judge agreed to let Price leave jail on a $25,000 bond. He's currently on house arrest with an ankle monitor. He may go to work. His attorney admitted Sunday his client fired the gun at the mall. So his lawyer saying he did it. but said
They're
it was
soft on crime.
Yeah, but said it was in self-defense. Well, he's the defense attorney. Price was only charged because he didn't have a carry permit for the weapon. So he's illegal possession of a firearm in public, and they fired it. And I must say, if you're a responsible gun owner, even if you have a gun for your personal protection, you don't fire it in an open shopping mall over a weekend filled with customers.
Yeah.
Price is one of 3 suspects arrested in the aftermath of the shooting. The other 2 men were released after it was determined they weren't involved. Victims at the shooting Saturday ranged in ages from 15 to 73. 9 were shot. 5 others suffered injuries, included broken bones, lacerations, head injury, while attempting to flee for safety. South Carolina, it goes on. But, I mean, my goodness, how do you get out on bail and allowed to have
Where did
work
this happen
release?
in
South Carolina.
Yeah, I don't know.
This isn't New York City.
These woke judges.
This isn't L.A.
Yeah, these soft on crime.
This is crazy.
Liberal judges.
You got someone who
it is crazy.
Possessing a gun illegally, discharges it in public, gets involved in a
Where does she work, and how did her fellow employees feel about this? I mean, I wouldn't.
They didn't say.
I mean, if I own the company where she worked, I mean, I saw her picture. I don't think she's an engineer or anything, but if I owned the company where she worked, I wouldn't be comfortable with that. So this judge is putting all these other people in danger, and now the person that hired her, they got to deal with this. And now if they fire her, they're going to get in trouble for that, saying that discrimination because she's black, and they're going to, oh, you're a racist and this and that. This judge is absolving herself from responsibility of punishing this person, and now she's putting her back out into society, or him back. Is it a guy or a woman? I can't tell.
It's a man.
Back out into society. I mean, imagine
it's
where
crazy.
does this guy work, and the people he works with.
And
that's nuts.
It is just funny. Here over the weekend, I got kicked out of a mall. Right over the weekend, I got kicked out of a mall. And this person, are they allowed to go back shopping at the mall? They got an ankle monitor.
It's a bizarro world.
What if they work at the mall?
Exactly.
Are they allowed to go back to work at the mall?
I'm looking at this picture. I don't know where this guy would have a job. I'm thinking, I don't know. It doesn't look like somebody
maybe the mall
would want to hire. I don't know. Scary looking.
Listen, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, there's more to share. Don't go anywhere. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll be back right after this.
From author Michael Butler comes your next must-read book, Police, Black Redemption, available on Amazon. Police, Black Redemption is a story of circumstance, fate, choice, and redemption. Author Michael Butler showcased at the 2021 Juneteenth celebration. Police, Black Redemption celebrates the resilience of the African American and Jewish spirit. Yet, despite the odds stacked against them, protagonists Trey, Maxwell, and Isaac lived, learned, and redeemed themselves despite unfortunate circumstances, despite adverse fates and poor choices. The author believes all violence against all people can be reduced. Police Black Redemption took 10 years and countless hours of development and presented to New York City as a new initiative in an immersive virtual reality format. It's been featured in the Caribbean Chamber of Commerce and many other publications. Blizzy codes are embedded in the book. Scan the book with your phone. Watch the magic, and you can keep in touch with the author. This is the latest technology in books and was invented by the author himself. Police Black Redemption from author Michael Butler. Available in Kindle and paperback on Amazon. Order your copy right now. How old were you when you first got out of credit card debt? Student loan debt? Have you ever had to repair your credit? These challenges are normal to many of us, but should they be? Would you like to prepare your children and have them equipped so they can understand finances early, so they can avoid the pitfalls that you fell into if they make bad money choices? The book from authors Tony and Carly Dublé, Charlie's Money Choices, available on Amazon, is perfect for readers ages 12 to 18. It tells the story of a kid who gets his first credit card, buys his first car, finds an apartment, and finds himself in some financial trouble. All along, he's learning key lessons of accountability that impact his journey with money. Charlie's Money Choices made it to the #1 spot in its educational category on Amazon and top 20 nationwide. If you know any students, this book is for them. Start small groups to discuss what Charlie should have done and what you would have done if you were in his shoes. Charlie's Money Choices is perfect for parents, grandparents, and teachers for classroom reading. Charlie's Money Choices from authors Tony and Carly Dublé. Available on Amazon. Order your copy today for your kid's future. I love my MyPillow towels. Unlike other towels, the MyPillow towel absorbs. They're soft to the touch. They come with a 10-year warranty, a 60-day money-back guarantee. Mike Lindell says towels that actually work. What a concept. But don't just take my word for it. Christine from Pennsylvania called live on the radio and shared her experience with her MyPillow towels.
I was just going to say, I bought the MyPillow, my towels, a couple weeks ago, and they are fabulous. They are the best towels I've ever used. They're just the right amount of thickness. They're not too thin. They're not too thick. And they're a great length. They're like longer than your average towel, and they are fabulous, luxurious.
You know, what's amazing to me about the MyPillow towels, Mike Lindell's a genius with his inventions. It absorbs the water, and the towel's not soaking wet after.
Yes, exactly.
You know, other towels, the water just kind of lays on top of them. They don't absorb it, and you're just smothering water, smearing it around on your body. Now with the MyPillow towels. What color did you get?
I got the sage green.
Ooh,
but
yeah.
I'm going to order more because I love purple, and I'm going to have to get a purple.
Man, my wife's ordering the purple, too, and she says it doesn't match our bathrooms, but she likes the purple anyway, so we're getting purple.
Who cares?
Exactly. Exactly. All right, Christine, thank you so much. The MyPillow towels are normally $109.99, but with our promo code at checkout, Kane, Kane, just $39.99. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879, promo code Kane.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. And remember, the Brian Craig Show podcast is now on all podcast platforms, including Spotify and even on Audible. We're on Audible, too. But we're on every podcast platform. If there's a podcast platform, the Brian Craig Show podcast is on it now.
We're everywhere.
And we were just added to Spotify, I don't know, two weeks ago, around 2 weeks ago. And welcome to all the new listeners on all these different platforms. Thank you. And please follow and subscribe on whatever platform you are listening to us on. Kathy showed me this very strange video of Biden.
Oh, it's all over Twitter right now.
Yeah, on Easter at the White House, they had Biden was there for the Easter egg roll. And describe this, Kathy. This is so insane.
He's there. And nobody's wearing masks, by the way, just to let you know. He's there talking to the press, and there's a whole bunch of people. And we retweeted this a bunch of times, and I put it on your Facebook group. And he's talking to the press, and all of a sudden, the Easter Bunny. Now, I'd really like to know, the big question is, who is in this Easter Bunny costume? The Easter Bunny comes up and very aggressively grabs Biden and pushes him away and directs him to go somewhere else.
Isn't that something?
Probably go hunt for Easter eggs.
Yeah.
Away from the press. And he just goes very dutifully and does what he's told. See, you got to understand, Biden is a guy who is just shuffled around and told what to do. He does not tell anybody what to do. They tell him what to do.
Yeah.
And even the Easter Bunny is telling him what to do. The question is, everybody's asking, who is in the Easter Bunny costume? Is it Jen Psaki, Jill Biden? I don't think it's Jill because she was there on her own. So I'm wondering if who the handler was.
There could be one other person inside this Easter Bunny costume. Barack Obama.
Maybe Kamala.
Maybe.
That's the question of the day.
Maybe.
But go to Brian's Twitter or Facebook group, and you'll see this. It's all over social media. And the Easter Bunny just comes up and literally grabs his arms and kind of shoves him off to the side to leave the press.
And Easter Bunny does like the jazz hands and does this waving in front of Biden. So no, you can't talk to these people.
Oh my goodness.
It's very strange. Now, I want to take a moment to thank our Patreon supporters. Thank you so much for your support. It does help us out a lot. It means a lot. And those of you that help us on Patreon, it does help this program out a lot, and it is greatly appreciated. And there are benefits to becoming a Patreon supporter, including getting commercial-free editions of each and every podcast episode. And our top Patreon supporters get a live on-air thank you shout-out. So the names you will hear right now are our top Patreon supporters. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, Gary, ETW, Chuck, D, Pamela, Jacqueline, Rick, Rich, and Nick. These are our top Patreon supporters, and if you would like to become a Patreon supporter, there is a link in the description of this and every episode. Depending on what platform you're listening to us on, it may be clickable, it may not. You may have to copy and paste it. There's also a direct link on my website to our Patreon page at briancraigshow.com. All right, so Zelensky is, well, let me just play this, and we'll talk about it. I've got 2 clips of Zelensky. He gave an interview with Jake Tapper on CNN, and that's where both of these came from. This is Zelensky talking to Jake Tapper over the weekend.
Come and see, and I'm sure he will understand.
Do you want President Biden to come here?
Yes.
Are there any plans for him to come?
I think he will.
You think he will?
I think he will. And I think but it's his decision, of course, and about the safety situation, it depends. But I think he's the leader of the United States, and that's why he should come here to see.
Okay. Now, this is an interesting thing because, there's a lot of confusion about what, conservative MAGA positions are. The conservative position on Ukraine is I think a very good position. Help Ukraine. Help them. Give them weapons. Give them. We just don't want to get involved in another ground war. Right. Because we just had a 20-year war in Afghanistan end. The war in Iraq. You guys know the history of all this.
It's been endless wars.
Yeah,
wars. We keep getting dragged into all these things.
We are all for giving Ukraine weapons and planes and guns and tanks. I do think we are. The Ukrainian military, they sunk a Russian ship, a flagship, last week, and they've had some pretty successful strikes, the Ukrainians, on Russian targets, probably through the help of United States assets, satellites and things. And SpaceX just had a top secret launch out of California. And people believe that it is a special satellite to help Ukraine defend itself against Russia. So, but the problem is, Biden, they passed that bill. Where's the money? Where's the,
that's the big question.
All the equipment that Zelensky needs, we already have it. And really what they should do, if Biden really wanted to help Ukraine, and I believe he should, all they need are paint jobs. We can give them tanks and planes. What happened to those planes they were going to get from Poland 6 weeks ago? We could give them all this equipment and then replenish our reserve supplies and take time over that. They're fighting for their lives.
Yeah, but what if they don't replenish our supplies?
Well,
maybe they want to deplete. Remember Obama, when he was in office, he really depleted our military, and Biden is doing whatever Obama did.
It's hard. You never know. You never know. But the help that was promised by the United States does not seem to be arriving. And, what Zelensky is doing here is really by saying Biden should come here because Boris Johnson recently went. He's getting into Biden's got a lot of ego problems, and the people around him have ego problems, and he's really trying to embarrass Biden into coming to Ukraine, which I think will have a negative consequence for Zelensky. I think they'll dig in and not give them help because they don't like. It's going to make Biden look bad, like he's too cowardly to go, unlike Boris Johnson.
Well, we give money to these countries, like we were talking the other day about Puerto Rico with the hurricane a few years ago. We gave them millions and millions of dollars, and then all these stories came out of officials taking that money, stealing that money, not giving it to the people. This is what happens when we give endlessly money to these countries that we want. Americans, all the liberals like to bash Americans, and Americans are probably the most generous people on the planet. And I know this money given to the Ukraine is our tax dollars, a lot of it, that we have really no control over how it gets. But a lot of people have donated money to this cause out of their own pocket on top of paying out of their tax dollars. A lot of people donated to the Puerto Ricans after that hurricane. Americans always open their wallets, even when they're struggling to help other people. That's because we're good Christian people for the most part. Where does this money go? This is the problem when you write these checks, huge checks to these countries. There is corruption. I would like Zelensky to show people, if he wants our help, he needs to show people where the money is going, how it's helping, what we're doing is how it's helping these people.
Yeah.
But he is not going to stop until he gets us involved in this conflict. And I really hope that never happens.
Then again, this is the second clip I have.
Not in like a physical, where we're actually there fighting.
Yeah, and this is the last clip I have of Zelensky, but this is also from the Jake Tapper interview. Let me play this and we'll talk about this. This is Zelensky with Jake Tapper. Oh, that's the same clip. Hold on, where's the other one? Yes, here it is. This is Zelensky with Tapper.
You lost ancestors in the Holocaust. Every year on Holocaust Remembrance Day, politicians put out statements that say, never again, never again. Those statements must seem really hollow right now to you. When the world says never again, do they ever mean it?
I don't believe the world. After we see what's going on in Ukraine, that I don't believe to this feeling that we should believe to the some countries or some leaders. We don't believe the words. After escalation of Russia, we don't believe our neighbors. We don't believe all of this. Even I don't believe documents, because we also had a Budapest memorandum. I think all the details of this. For me, that is just a piece of paper, and costs nothing, and that's it. So we just believe concrete, pragmatic things. If you are our friends or partners, give us weapon, give us hand, give us support us, give us money, and stop Russia, kick Russia. You can do it. If you are a friend, if you think about this, this democracy and everything, yes, all these moments. If we have the same thoughts, if we are speaking about freedom, not because we want to have dialogue about freedom, if we are really things, yes, if we're real the same thoughts.
The only belief there is belief in ourselves, in our people, belief in our armed forces, and the belief that countries are going to support us, not just with their words, but with their actions. And that's it.
Never again.
Really, everybody is talking about this, and yet, as you can see, not everyone has got the guts.
President Biden.
Wow. So what Zelensky's saying here is Europe, NATO, and Biden have all talked the talk, but have not given them the help they need.
He's got a lot of damn nerve. This guy wants to bring all these countries into his war, and we're supposed to go to war with Russia.
Yeah.
For this guy because he won't relinquish on joining NATO. I read an article the other day where he was talking about how Putin's going to unleash nuclear war and this and that, and if that's what needs to happen, I mean, this guy's crazy. So because he's not willing to concede on a few issues here, the whole world has to erupt and go into war for this guy. I'm sorry. I don't like to see what's going on.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's right for this guy to be constantly trying to drag other people into this war and fight this fight for him.
What's going to happen with Zelensky is this. He's gone after Biden. Now he's gone after all of Europe. They're going to drop him. You're going to stop seeing him.
They're not going to get involved.
You're not going to see him addressing parliaments anymore. You're not going to see Zelensky at Hollywood celebrity events like he's been. They're going to drop him because he's pointing out that they all voice support for Ukraine and have not come.
Yeah. Well, you know why he did that, Brian? Because he's not a politician. He's not savvy, and he doesn't know how to play the game and say the right thing. I want to say this before I forget. I read an article the other day. I put it in your Facebook group, and there's a tweet. Marjorie Taylor Greene's Democratic challenger, Marcus Flowers, has out-fundraised her. He's raked in $2.4 million, and she has $1.1 million. I read another article about this. She is having trouble raising funds. So if you like MTG, you need to, and you want to send money to a politician, send it to her, because she is having trouble raising money for her reelection. and they are really, really, really going after her big time. They're going to give her opponent a lot of money because, believe me, she is, to me, the number one person they want out of Congress. And she's got a big mouth, which they hate. She speaks her mind. She speaks the truth, and they don't like it. They want to shut her down. So if you're the kind of person who likes to donate to political campaigns, donate to hers because she needs the money.
It's funny you mention that because there's a Republican who I believe is leaving, but his name's Fred Upton. He's a Republican member of Congress, and he's concerned about Marjorie Taylor Greene being in Congress.
Yeah, even the Republicans are after her.
And he gave an interview over the weekend. This is a Republican, not a Democrat talking. Republican Congressman Fred Upton about Marjorie Taylor Greene. Listen.
Can Kevin McCarthy both represent you and Marjorie Taylor Greene?
This is Meet the Press.
He can if he gets the margin. That's why this over-under number is so important. Are we going to be over-under 230? If it's under 230...
You don't think he may not become Speaker if it's under 230?
It will be very hard to govern for Republicans if we're under 230, knowing that we've got the MTG element that's really not a part of a governing majority.
We've had wild types of members of Congress since the history of this republic.
Always have.
Okay. But do you
remember Jim Trafficant?
Oh, yeah, look, beam me up.
Yeah.
But Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene and Paul Gosar, is that a different element than you've ever seen before?
I don't think we've had as many folks in that sort of wing of the party elected as we have before. But I think...
And what he means by that wing are like real conservatives that really want to accomplish the Republican agenda. Mm-hmm. I mean, here's a guy. He's been in Congress for a long time. Mm-hmm. How many of you have heard of Fred Upton? Republican Fred Upton.
Never.
And he's Upton, but he's not uppity like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Boebert. And they're activists, which is good. They get out there and get the message across.
They're very popular back at home.
Yeah.
I mean,
what does that tell you? What does that tell you about the Republican Party?
Troubled waters, I guess you could say. And
it's not troubled waters.
Give me a break.
Yeah, why? Because the establishment aren't going to control. See, they have a big fear that Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene are making the House of Representative Republicans MAGA. And there's Donald Trump. Many people wanted Donald Trump to start a new party last year, and we wondered if he was going to start a MAGA party. And what he decided to do was no, and turn the Republican Party into a MAGA party.
He decided that, I realize now, because, and we were talking about this before the show, he has outraised the RNC by like double. He has like $120 million. He is the kingmaker. Mm-hmm. Everybody agrees with that. He is controlling the party. He did not want to start a new party because he wants to destroy the current party and rebuild it in the way it should be and get rid of these swamp creatures. If he started a new party, it would probably go nowhere. How many people would be willing to leave the Republican Party and leave that umbrella to join a whole new party? Not many. So it was a very smart thing for him to do. So what he's doing is he's restructuring, and this next election is going to be critical. So that's why he might be endorsing people that you might not agree with 100%, but he has a method to his madness, and you really need to trust what he's doing because he is working things behind the scenes. He holds all the coffers right now. He has out-moneyed the RNC. These guys running for our seats, they're not going to the RNC for help. They're going to Donald Trump for his endorsement and for his money, and he is handing out the money according to what he thinks is right. He is going to completely restructure this party.
Oh, yeah.
And he is going to be in charge for years to come. I've read several articles lately, and one today, where even Democrats are acknowledging he is the kingmaker and he is running this show from behind the scenes, from Mar-a-Lago. There are lots of politicians that are at Mar-a-Lago all the time that are going there, schmoozing him, and they're like, I'm going to do what you want. I'll be on your side. And they're going to him, not to Ronna McDaniel, because he is controlling the purse strings right now. And that's what he's doing. And you know what I mean? So that's what's happening. He who's got the gold makes the rules, as they say.
Now, listen, we're going to take our last break. There's much more to talk about. We really have only scratched the surface. I know we're going a little longer than we normally do on the podcast because so much news has happened over the weekend of Easter and today. So don't go anywhere. We got a lot more to talk about when we get back. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We will be back right after this.
Have you wanted to build your own website, but you didn't know where to even begin? If you're looking to build your own website easily and quickly, you need to check out OLIT.com. That's OLITT. At OLIT.com, you will find all the tools you need to build your very own website. OLIT.com is a website builder tool that allows small businesses to launch websites and online shops fast. You don't need any coding skills. Just drag and drop. Get an online shop at 60% off. Sell anything, everywhere, starting at just $2.50 per month. What are you waiting for? Go right now to OLIT.com. OLITT. Choose from their collection of over 200 premium designs that will fit any business. Beautiful pre-made websites. OLIT.com. Have you wanted to try meditation but didn't know how or even where to begin? The book from author Peggy Lunnington, Meditation Manual. Simple directions for a life-changing practice. Available on Amazon is the help you've been seeking. This must-read book is a quick read with a very personal tone, beginning with an intimate glimpse into the author's life and reasons they needed meditation, followed by a brief description of what meditation is and does. Also included are 4 simple exercises that can change a person's life. Author Peggy Lunnington's goal was simple: to make meditation easily accessible for everyone during this unusually stressful period in our collective history. Meditation Manual, Simple Directions for a Life-Changing Practice, debuted as an Amazon #1 new release in its category. Start your meditation journey right now and order your copy of Meditation Manual, Simple Directions for a Life-Changing Practice on Amazon and the author's website, PeggyLunnington.com. When traveling, you want to stay somewhere that feels like home. And that's why Airbnb is perfect when booking a place to stay. If you're traveling to the Tampa, Brandon, Florida area, there's a beautiful and spacious townhome you need to check out. You can keep it simple at this peaceful and centrally located place. This is a private, spacious master bedroom with a private bath and a smart townhome. You will have access to the kitchen, the living room, and the laundry room. It's just 10 minutes from the Brandon Mall, the Hard Rock Cafe, and 20 minutes from Busch Gardens, downtown Tampa, the University of South Florida, and the Tampa Airport. This private room has all the amenities and comforts of home. It's modern, contemporary, very clean, and spacious. If you want to see this amazing place, just go to Airbnb.com. Search for Stay in Tampa, Brandon, and then look for the listing Private Room and Townhouse hosted by Zen. There's self-check-in, lake access, Wi-Fi, and HD TV, as well as free parking, air conditioning, and security cameras on the property. So go right now to Airbnb.com. Search for Stay in Tampa, Brandon, and look for the listing Private Room and Townhouse hosted by Zen, and book right now.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. We're not going to talk about this other than to mention. Then we'll get back into the issues, okay? But I saw there's another Batman movie out, made over $700 million or something.
Oh, my Lord. It's on HBO Max, so maybe we'll watch it.
Let me ask you guys this. Is there any need for another Batman movie? I mean,
there
what
are
is
so
there?
many superhero movies.
What
Oh
is
my
there-
goodness!
What is there to add to the Batman story that you have
I
not
don't
seen?
know. They got
by
another
multiple
Thor
actors?
movie coming out.
Oh my goodness!
I mean,
Enough.
can we come up with some original ideas? Unfortunately, this is what the kids want to see. And Brian, this is what gets people in movie theaters. If you just play a regular, I don't even know if Woody Allen, and I love Woody Allen, even though he's whatever about his issues. I don't know about that, but I think his movies are great. I just watched Bullets Over Broadway Saturday night. It's a great movie. I don't think he could even get people to go see his movies anymore, or George Lucas or any of these guys, Ron Howard, any of them. You have to have a big superhero blockbuster CGI action-packed film to get people to even go and pay money at the theater.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they just watch it at home.
I'm so bored with Batman.
That's what we do.
Okay, so a lot of controversy about Dr. Oz. And, you know, Dr. Oz, when I had my appearance with Steve Kane over the weekend, there's a guy you see in my YouTube video before we get kicked out. A guy said, why is Hannity defending Dr. Oz? That's a good question. Good question.
It is a good question.
I want to play this clip. This is Dr. Oz. This is on his television show. He claims to be conservative on everything now. He has in studio the actress whose name I don't know, but she played the mother on Empire, the Jussie Smollett show. Okay? And so this actress that Dr. Oz is talking to played Jussie Smollett's mother.
Wait, when was Dr. Oz talking to her?
When he had his television show. Okay. She played his mother, this actress, on the Empire TV show.
Yeah.
So this is Dr. Oz, and he's talking to her about Jussie Smollett. Now, this is after the hate hoax had happened. We all knew from the second the story came out that it was fake because he talked about two white guys in MAGA hats
in Chicago
walking at 2 a.m. on the south side of Chicago at 2 a.m. I mean, I was at the mall with a MAGA hat over the weekend, and I ran into trouble in Ron DeSantis' Free Florida. Two white guys walking with MAGA hats at 2 in the afternoon on the south side of Chicago was a death wish at 2 a.m.
That's for sure.
So there's no one in America who did not know that Jussie Smollett was full of it with this is MAGA country BS. So anyway, Dr. Oz, he has the actress on who plays Jussie Smollett's mother on Empire. Listen to this. Dr. Oz.
But before I get to that, Jussie Smollett, who's been on the show, who we all adore, was recently injured.
Now remember, this is after the hate hoax, okay?
But before I get to that, Jussie Smollett, who's been on the show, who we all adore, was recently injured. It's being called a hate crime.
Yes.
I don't know if you've been able to speak to him at all.
I had to check on my baby.
Exactly right. Castmate from Empire, a good friend.
He is resilient, and his mother raised him right. He is just, at his very core, he is love. That's just who he is. And love is always going to win. Hate can try it, the devil tried it, but no, not this time.
But Jussie, if you're watching this, the entire audience, all of us are saying we love you very much.
Yes.
Okay, so Dr. Oz, who told Hannity last week, he's conservative on everything. He loves Jussie Smollett after the hate hoax. This is come on, Dr. Oz.
Here's the deal, and I've said this on a few shows ago. Dr. Oz, his downfall is he's a big Hollywood ass kisser.
Yes, that's exactly.
And that's the problem with Dr. Oz. And I don't think he's going to win the nomination. I really don't, because I think
of the primary.
I think we on this show are more in touch with the pulse of MAGA than maybe sometimes President Trump is. Because I think if Trump was as in tuned as we are with you guys, he would never have endorsed this man. I think he's endorsing him because they're friends. I don't think Trump realized the backlash to this endorsement. Usually his endorsements are usually spot on, and I always say vote for whoever he endorses. And I tell you, if I lived in Pennsylvania, I would vote for Dr. Oz. I would. I've said that because that's who Trump wants, and that's who I'd vote for. But his problem is his ass kissing of Hollywood and trying to be in with that crowd. We love him and this and that. That just makes you want to vomit.
Yeah, and it's total BS.
It is, and he knows it too.
There's not a single person who believed Jussie Smollett's story.
Oh my goodness!
It was, come on, give me. Even that actress knew it was BS.
Yeah, exactly.
This is MAGA country. MAGA hats, 2 a.m. South side of Chicago. Are you kidding me? Okay, now just a little bit on Elon Musk and Twitter. Okay, that's going to happen. It's going to happen. Elon Musk is the richest man in the world. Not only is he the richest man in the world, and of course the richest African American, but he's the richest person like ever, right? You don't become the richest man in the world and get beaten by some wokesters at Twitter who are IT specialists or something, or some people that made the way onto a board. He will end up with Twitter under his control one way, shape, form, or another. And there's also he's doing this for very principled reasons, but he's more connected than you think. We were talking earlier that there was a top secret military SpaceX launch out of California. It was either today or yesterday. So he's got a lot of very powerful friends that he doesn't go around bragging about. He's a very well-connected guy. But
money will do that for sure.
Well, he's brilliant too, and he's just very smart. Believe me, he's going to win this. He's smarter than all of them, and he is the richest man in the world. That is an amazing feat. The richest man in the world.
Well, that comes with a lot of power, first, no doubt. When you come on, let's be real.
So I want to just play this last clip because this is, they're in a panic. Of course, the left, the mainstream corporate media.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And Mika Brzezinski,
because they know he's going to bring back Trump.
Yeah, Mika Brzezinski slipped and a brief moment of honesty on MSNBC. This is Mika Brzezinski on Friday.
And I think that the dangerous, edges here are that he's trying to undermine the media, trying to make up his own facts. And it could be that while unemployment and the economy worsens, he could have undermined the messaging so much that he can actually control exactly what people think. And that is our job.
Yeah, if you look.
Okay. Now, so
she said that before,
what she's saying,
by the way.
that it is their job, not his job. It is the job of the media to control what people think. I thought they were supposed to report facts and we were supposed to come to our own conclusions about them.
She's made that slip in the past. I've seen other clips of her saying that. So this is how liberals are. I mean, they really, in their mind, that's totally, because she said it before, so no, she clearly, truly believes that. Because in their mind, they feel it's a responsibility to teach people how to think and to tell them what to think because we're too stupid to think for ourselves.
That's right.
And they need us to tell them how to think because otherwise we're like Biden being led around by the Easter Bunny.
That's correct. That's correct. And you hear the panic with them, with Elon Musk.
Oh, yeah.
And they are going to lose it. They're going to lose this. He is going to win it. And
they're really going to melt down when that happens.
It will. And I can't wait. It's going to be a big
Do you think
victory.
there'll be like a mass exodus, not that I care, of liberals leaving the platform?
The media.
Because I have seen, I think if he takes over, I think a lot of, but where are they going to go? I mean, there's no other, they're not going to go to Getter or Truth Social.
No.
I don't know. Do you guys think that there'll be a mass exodus of people in the media leaving that platform? I don't think so because they have nothing else to do, but you're going to start seeing maybe another platform pop up too. I mean, there's all kinds of platforms here popping up.
A lot of these media people, the Brian Stelter types, will probably leave.
You think so?
If Elon Musk takes over, or at least threaten to. Yeah. But because
I don't know.
They command it now.
They have nowhere to go. They need Twitter. I mean, they live for Twitter. These people are on Twitter 24/7, and I know this because you have tweeted to several people in the media, including Joy Reid and Matt and Chris Cuomo, who have retweeted you and commented on what you said, like literally 10 minutes later.
Sometimes less.
These people, their life revolves around Twitter and comments and likes and retweets. And they check it in the middle. I remember, this is true. One time Dana Perino was talking about something on the 5, and I can't remember specifically what it was, but she was looking like a jerk as usual. And I tweeted to her something, and during the break, she came back and completely changed her tune. I don't know if it had anything to do with my tweet. I don't know.
It did, because you tagged her. She saw it.
I tagged her, and I said something, and when she came back from the break, she completely changed her tactic and started doing what I said to do. I can't remember specifically what it was.
I forgot. It was a couple weeks ago, too.
No, it was a couple months ago.
Was it that long ago?
Yeah, it was long.
Like it just happened.
No, it was last year.
Yeah. No. It was this year. It was very recent when that happened. It was when she started. It was because she was doing this new show during the day.
Yeah,
it was very recent.
Bill Hemmer.
It was Bill Hemmer. This was just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, very rude to him or something.
Well, yeah, and this happened.
Usual.
This happened with me on more than one occasion. But there was one time.
Yeah, I mean they live for this crap.
We were watching Outnumbered. This was a few years ago when Andrea Tantaro. What was her name?
Oh yeah, Andrea. Yeah,
Trantaros.
I always liked
her. She had a Greek name. She was on Outnumbered, and I had her as a guest here on the podcast. And she hung up on me during the interview.
Oh, yeah.
I asked her a question, and then
yes.
she hung up on me. And then sometime later, we were watching Outnumbered, and I tweeted something and tagged her. And she came back from break and actually, but she didn't say my name, but she commented about my tweet.
She did. In fact, we were watching Outnumbered, and you had made some comment on Twitter tagging her during the show.
Mm-hmm.
And this is so true. She came back from the break. And she was talking about it because she was continuing the conversation, what they had, because you were commenting on what they talked about.
She was flustered.
And she said, someone just tweeted, blah, blah, blah.
And it was my tweet.
And she repeated word for word what you said.
It was awesome.
These people are absolutely pathetic. I don't think they can live without Twitter. I really don't. I mean, they literally probably, it's, how people, when somebody's addicted to something, they wake up in the middle of the night and do it, like smoke or have a drink. That's how these people are. They wake up in the middle of the night and they check their Twitter feed, probably all throughout the night, because they live on every word of what people say about them.
Well, listen, we are out of time, but we will be back next time. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll see you next time.
Life is an adventure, and adventure awaits. All you need is the right gear, and that is what you will find at avidadventurers.com. If you've ever been on a hike or gone camping, you probably wish you had the right gear with you to make your experience with nature as amazing as possible. At avidadventurers.com, you will find everything you need to make your next outing memorable and truly enjoyable. They will help you out with all the essentials that can help you get up those trails and campsites. They have gear that will help turn your love of nature into an adventure to remember. AvidAdventurers.com carry walking poles, health and safety items, first aid kits, portable water system, fire starter kits, fishing gear, travel bags, and a whole lot more. Before you head out on your next adventure, you need to visit AvidAdventurers.com first. There's a lot to experience in the world we live in. Let AvidAdventurers.com provide you with everything you need to make your outdoor excursions worry-free, so you can focus on what truly matters: adventure. Visit AvidAdventurers.com. An adventure awaits.